It's time for some damn good tacos in college football. We're excited to announce our title sponsor, Torchys Tacos, for the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk, and the new addition to the Hogville.net family, the Arkansas pregame show starring former Hog running back Marshall Foreman, hosted by Jason Pattison. If you're looking for a place to unwind and call the Hogs, Torchys is the place. Torchys' location on MLK in Fayetteville is the proud host of the Arkansas pregame show, and it will air 2 hours prior to kickoff of each Fayetteville home game. The Arkansas Football Report airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. in Rogers. Check out the full-service bar on the patio or in the restaurant while you cheer Arkansas on to victory. Torchys has you covered with the daily drink specials or the taco of the month with their queso that's made in-house fresh daily. Torchys has 2 convenient locations in Northwest Arkansas, which happen to be the only 2 locations here in the great state of Arkansas. They have you covered for some damn good tacos, and go Hogs. And welcome everybody to the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk, special guest Alyssa Orange, and also with Luther Franklin as well. I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. We are here live at Torchys Tacos in Fayetteville. I want to say a special thank you to Jonathan and also Marcus with all their hospitality they show us each and every week. You can click on the like and subscribe button on the Hogville YouTube channel. You can watch all of the past shows with Otis, Dudley, Kevin, and Marshall. Special thank you to Carbless Cocktails. You can find any of their 9 different flavors they have to offer. They are 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and 100 calories. They have 8 different vodka flavors and also that tequila margarita flavor. You can pick up them at any major retail grocer or here exclusively at Torchys. Be sure to stop by either of the Torchys locations here in Northwest Arkansas, which happen to be the only 2 in the great state of Arkansas.
We're blessed.
We are very blessed with that. Make sure to pair any of their tacos that they have on the board over there with their house-made queso that is made fresh daily, and that will open up your taste buds to a whole new world. Now, if you're a Hogville fan, you go up to the register up front, tell them that you're with Hogville, free taco. Sign up for their rewards program, free queso and chips. You have a free meal right there waiting for you.
It's good to know.
So
I was here last week. You didn't tell me this.
We just rolled this out. I'm sorry. Oh, I know it's awful. I'm so sorry. But now you know.
Free food.
But now
you gotta spread the word.
Well,
get your free tacos.
Get your free tacos, guys.
And queso.
And queso.
All right. So I want to start off the show with the unfortunate passing of Oliver Miller.
Yep.
Personally, he was the first guy that I ever saw throw a baseball pass across 90 feet of hard. It took me in. I thought, how big of a guy is this to be able to palm a basketball and chuck it like that, like it's a Nerf ball? I mean, that's what he did, and it captivated folks. I mean, I know it sounds crazy with just a pass, but when you have a guy that does that, that catches the attention of some fans. And it also was a weapon for Nolan Richardson back in the 80s. He was one of those integral parts with Mayday and Ernie and all those guys But when you have a guy like Oliver, he captivates the team, he captivates the fan base, he captivated the league whenever he played for Toronto and also with Phoenix. And it's so hard to see this because, one, he's so young. Two, he loved people. And that was the biggest thing. And that was the biggest takeaway for me.
You were in school with him, right?
Yes, I was. I would say the first time I met him, and he was coming down the hallway, and I didn't know who he was, but I remember saying, "Dude, your knuckles must be raw." And he looked at me, he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Because as long as your arms are, they got to be rubbing the ground."
Well done.
And he was like, "Well, who are you?" And I told him who I was.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, and he was like, "Well, you're not on the basketball squad." I said, "No, I play football." He said, "Oh, okay, that explains it."
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, y'all having a little bit of technical difficulties there. Holy cow. This is the first time I busted out the tripod in a while. So usually we're just off the eyeball there.
Yeah.
So it was like I said, it was really hard. I know that there's a lot of fans that have had an outpouring of great stories.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you only hear those after they're passing. And I just wish that there was more times and opportunities where they were able to share those stories with them, like what we did. For instance, a couple of weeks ago, you guys can go watch that the Hogville Heroes series. It's up and live. You can watch it on Hogville channel, or Hogville.net, or on the YouTube channel as well. And we'll go over that here in just a second. But I feel like it's really important to have some of these older players come back because, like you guys have talked about before, they don't want to come back sometimes.
Yeah, well, and I think with Oliver Miller, what I've heard, because I was not here at Arkansas when he was playing by any means, and so is hearing what people have told me. You know, I had someone reach out and tell me that like they were on a call for work and had to excuse themselves because it was that impactful for them. I know Matt Zimmerman, who calls a lot of the Arkansas basketball games. A lot of people know who he is. Had some really beautiful words to say about Big O, and Hogs Plus shared a clip from a Hog Pod that they did with Big O, and Bill Mattingly asked him, "How do you want people to remember you?" And he said, "My smile." Like that's who Oliver Miller was, and so that's what I know are from those stories like you talk about, which people love to hear and share, and to be able to share those more would be really cool.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second. That's why we got you here tonight, too. Because don't get me wrong. I love whenever you join, Marshall joins, anybody joins.
Yes.
But you're one of the people that we were able to get inside the mind of when you were here on the Hill. And I'm going to tell you what, and I didn't prep Alyssa for this, and this is unintended.
It's okay. It's live television. We're just going to go with it. It's fine.
And I didn't tell her that the very first story, Donnie started out with him in limbo finding a dead body.
Don't give away the whole thing.
I'm not going to.
Just go listen to the episode.
You should definitely go take a look at it.
Yes, that's their story to tell.
With a dead body.
That's their story to tell. And I'll let them tell that.
Yeah.
They tell it really well, too.
But I knew where it was at, but I didn't see it. Just saying. So this is a brainchild of Limbo.
Yeah.
Because I come up and I said, "Hey, I'm trying to think of something to do for you. Teams from the 80s, some of the guys that don't get a lot of exposure, get them back out in the forefront again." It does everybody good because, it adds to your life. It adds to younger Razorback fans that may not hear stories that you guys can share with them. That's what's so great about this. And what was the first thing that ran through your mind whenever we come up and whenever I approached you with this idea?
Okay. I would have to say, when you came up with it, I was like, do I want to bury Hatfield? Because I'm not a big fan. Do I want to bury Hatfield? I didn't throw out a whole lot, but there was I don't know. I kept it G-rated. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
There was some G-rated stuff. There was also some some MA stuff in there too as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just glad you made it out of Lake Weddington alive.
Oh my gosh, I have to tell you, when he sent me this and I opened it up, first off, y'all start with a dead man story, but when you get into the episode, you have the slate, and then all of a sudden it wipes to the "this is for mature audiences only," and I was like, "What did Jason just do? What are we watching here? What are we doing?"
Hey, Lake
But it's
Weddington was always a fun place to go to. I mean, and usually when springtime came around, that was the place to be
Yeah.
during the day. But
Yeah.
it was also fun to go at night too.
Hey, Luke, you got a pen? You gotta listen to the episode.
You have got to listen to
Gotta follow the episode. There you go.
Oh, and that was what was so fun, was like that was a full hour of constant story after story after story. And I'm used to kind of getting on there and kind of driving the train a little bit. I know
Yeah.
GT got on there. He was like, let me take this.
Yes,
I-
yes, he did.
These are my guys. Let me take this. Because not only he was your quarterback on the field, he's quarterback outside of the field too.
Yes.
And so whenever he did that, I thought, oh, I get to sit back and be a fan for it.
Yeah, he knew what to ask. He knew what to ask.
And I knew that once he said that, he knew exactly what to say to get the reactions that he knew I was looking for, but also tell the stories that these folks want to hear and should hear.
Absolutely. I mean, and hey, like I said, he was our quarterback. He knew we did. We were there every day. We was at practice every day. We work out every day. So he knew us inside and out, and we knew him inside and out. And so he knew how to get stuff out of us, even if we don't want to tell it.
And that's
It's
what,
really cool.
that's the sign of a
cool to
great
hear.
leader too.
Yeah.
Yes.
It really is. Man, that's so April 19th, we're going to have a huge blowout here at Torchys in Fayetteville. Might have some special guests come along. We're going to do a second interview. We're going to do a two-part interview. It's going to be a two-part. So our second interview is going to be here at Torchys. Now, we talked about how life was on the field. We're going to talk about life off the field. And I think that we might have to kind of crack that open a little bit and kind of pull a little bit of that out. But when we pull it out, I guarantee you it's going to be some great storytelling time.
If it's anything like we've already got, it's gonna be gold. Gold.
I will say, at one point, I sat and I was thinking about writing a book, and the title was "When the Cheering Stops," because once you stop hearing your name,
Yeah.
and stop hearing your number being called, it was like, what do I do now? Now it's like, it's no more football, no more rah-rah. It's now I got to work.
Yeah.
I got to find a job. I got to do this, got to do that. Fun is over. And that's the way I look at it. So, but the cheering stops, but life still goes on. Some of those guys, they couldn't do the difference. Some of those guys were still trying to play football, trying to play arena football, trying to do this, trying to do that, and it was tearing their bodies apart.
Yeah.
And some of those guys like, oh, I need to do this, so I'm taking steroids. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And some of those guys that did those no longer with us anymore. I mean, I know this, but you got to be able to differentiate, find the difference between the cheering and, okay, football is over.
Yeah.
I need to work. That's it.
Yeah.
I had fun. It's over.
I think they do a really good job now. Again, resources have improved so much that a lot of these athletes have those resources that make that transition a little bit better. I remember covering the Olympics, and this is a small scale. So many athletes talk about the post-Olympic blues, that you're on such a high,
Yes.
and then you come back
That's good.
and there's
That's
a little
good.
bit of like a, you could be walking down the street and nobody knows who you are. A
Yeah.
week ago, you were standing on a podium being handed a gold medal.
Yes.
And
Right.
there's a lot of a mental strength that takes to get through those things. And I think you're right.
Yeah.
Take that on a much larger scale. Your football career that you've spent your whole entire life playing is over. Now you got to figure out what you're going to do next. They've got resources now to help those guys go through that transition a little
Yes.
smoother. You guys had to kind of figure it out on your own.
Yeah, we had to. We definitely did. But I will tell you this: my mom never let me forget. She was always my cheerleader.
There you go. Hey, you always
And
had mom.
still my
though.
cheerleader.
You always had mom.
I mean, I'm 60, and I can go to a grocery store with my mom in Houston, and she's like, "Oh, this is my football player right here." Mom, I ain't played football in 30 years.
You'll always be her football player. You'll always be.
And whenever you talk about like when the cheering stops, one of the things that I think is hardest for an athlete to transition from, like you were talking about, is Luther, the football player, almost has to die to be Luther, the person outside of the football field.
Yes.
That is one of the hardest transitions, like you're talking about. But internally, what does that do to you?
Well, I mean, to me, I was able to make the transition, but you have some of those guys that get to like a little depression, and they don't know how to come out of that. But there were some guys that I was able to talk to, and I was like, hey, let's go do this. Let's go play golf. Let's go do something just to get them out of it, just to break them out of it.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of universities need to find some kind of program for those guys. Because some of those guys, they never come out of it, and they won't tell anybody. And the next thing you know, there's like a suicide. You never know why he committed suicide. Who knows why?
Yeah.
But I think there should be some kind of program for guys that once they get through playing football, to say, hey, life doesn't end this way. It doesn't end. You can do this. You can do that. Or try to help them go to that next level, find a job or something. Because you have so many guys. I mean, and like Donnie will tell you. Yeah. He was homeless. He was on the streets. And when I found out, I was in Houston. I drove to Dallas, picked him up, got him clothes, got him a cell phone, got him a shower, got him this, put some cash in his pocket. And he kind of came around, but I don't know. I mean, when you got 80 guys on the squad and you play 4 years and you come to that many players, how many other players went through that you don't even know about?
Yeah.
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 And I think there should be something that should help those players out, because there's a lot of kids that come through this university, and basically, once they're done with you, that's it. They're done. You're gone. Yeah. Yes, you get this $80,000 degree. Mind you, yes, I get that. But there's still more to it than just that degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put a lot of blood, a lot of sweat, a lot of tears out there on that field. And it's basically like they could just like kick you to the curb and be like, okay, well, now we're going to recruit some more people. And life goes on for the university, but it doesn't go on for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I talked to Marshall a little bit outside of our pregame shows that we had. And one of the things that he mentioned to me at the very last show was, he said, you got me watching and caring about Razorback football. He said, because beforehand,
yes.
didn't care, couldn't even care at all. He said, with me knowing that I wanted to come back next year with you, he said, I started watching the football games again. I started paying attention. And quite frankly, I started giving a shit again. Mm-hmm. And that's what it was.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Finally able to get him to a spot where, he gives two rats' asses about the team that he, you said, poured his blood, sweat, and tears for. Mm-hmm. And it's almost mind-boggling to think that being separated from football for so long that he has, playing in, trying out for NFL, yes, playing Arena League, coaching Arena League, to not even caring, that says a lot.
Yeah.
It does. It really does. I mean, and like I said, that's just one of those deals where they need to find some kind of way, because there's it's not just him. There's a lot of guys that are like that. I mean, like last year, I think that was the most, I would say that was the most black players I ever seen come back for a reunion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, last year was. And I would say probably about 25 of those guys that I talked to, it was their first time they've been on campus since they left. And I was a freshman when I was talking to some of those guys, because they were seniors then, and I was like, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed Fayetteville. It wasn't a big transition for me. I mean, I was fine. Some of these guys was like, that Fayetteville wasn't a place for black men. Yep. It was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough. But we survived.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick 1-minute break.
And then when we come back, Alyssa and I, we're going to talk a little bit about spring practice a little bit.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about that gut-wrenching Razorback loss this afternoon. That was bad. That was bad.
That was bad.
All right, y'all. We'll be back here in just a moment.
Y'all, it's time for some damn good tacos in college football. We're excited to announce our title sponsor, Torchys Tacos, for the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk, and the new addition to the Hogville.net family, the Arkansas pregame show starring former Hog running back Marshall Foreman, hosted by Jason Pattison. If you're looking for a place to unwind and call the Hogs, Torchys is the place. Torchys' location on MLK in Fayetteville is the proud host of the Arkansas pregame show, and it will air 2 hours prior to kickoff of each Fayetteville home game. The Arkansas Football Report airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. in Rogers. Check out the full-service bar on the patio or in the restaurant while you cheer Arkansas on to victory. Torchys has you covered with the daily drink specials or the taco of the month with their queso that's made in-house fresh daily. Torchys has 2 convenient locations in Northwest Arkansas, which happen to be the only 2 locations here in the great state of Arkansas. They have you covered for some damn good tacos, and go Hogs.
And we're back, y'all. So,
Hi, guys.
Miss cell phone.
No, well, it's a long story. Someone's trying to find something. I'm trying to help them.
Alyssa Orange, Luther Franklin, Jason, I want to thank you all for joining us again.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for
So,
having us.
one of the things that I noticed whenever I saw the first day of practice, Taylen Green finally looks like an SEC-ready quarterback. Last year, little light, little thin. This spring, he's pretty muscled up. I'm not going to lie. And you can tell that the weight room has been very, very nice.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you knew that with Taylen coming in for his second season. I think anybody who comes in, you just need that year to kind of feel what's going on. It's a new place. It's a new setting. It's a brand new coach. Bobby Petrino is going to put a lot of responsibility on you. He's got really high expectations of you. I think Taylen finally realized, okay, this is what it's going to take. We saw it with KJ. I think we've seen it with every quarterback who's come through here. Year 2 is always a big step. Can they make that big step from year 1 to year 2? And a lot of that big step isn't necessarily just with their arm or their mechanics. It's how their body looks. Excuse me. So his body looks a whole lot different too in the system.
On top of that, it's going to really help too with him trying to protect that knee. Because that's one of the things that I know he's had an off season to heal, but it's one of those things that can kind of come back at you that second year, and he has a bigger offensive line. Shaq McCrory, I swear to God, is one of the largest human beings I have
He's
ever
a big
seen.
man.
I've seen Bruce Smith. I've seen Daryl Talley. I've seen the Buffalo Bills of the early 90s. Used to go for training camps when I was a kid.
Okay.
I know it's a little bit skewed because I was a kid, but still, whenever you have a guy that's 6'9", 6'8", 6'9", weighs 370, and looks like he's probably about 300, that's ridiculous. And that's what they have right now at possibly, I would say, probably left tackle. So you know that not only is he bigger, you've got bigger guys on the offensive line that are going to be able to protect Taylen a lot better. I would think this second year with him commanding the offense, and I hope to see where he's able to really take command of that huddle, because sometimes we didn't see that last year.
Yeah, I think too, and I want everyone to understand, don't expect to see much from Taylen during spring practice because, like you said, he's still trying to get used to that knee again, and everyone knows that as shifty as he can be, that confidence has to be 100% to him for him to feel the way that he feels. And spring practice right now, the way that college football has unfolded, is just, you're not going to see a lot. So we're not going to have a lot of answers. We're not going to be like, oh, Taylen is going to be this. We're not going to see that until week 1 of the football season. So I don't want people's expectations to be like, well, I didn't see this from Taylen, so he must not be getting any better. And it's like, but it's spring ball, guys. And I think that's a really big thing to understand when you're going through these practices and you're seeing what you're seeing. It's the spring, and they're not trying to go speed.
Well, that's why I disagree, because
Really?
I think spring should be like it was old school.
Sure.
We had,
It's not, though.
but it should be, because everybody should play, because that's the only way you can get the speed of the game, unless you practice. You don't get the speed of the game by looking at it on the sideline.
Yeah. No, I love this because I want to pick your brain about it a little bit more because, okay, so you want to go full speed. You want to see guys
absolutely
hitting each other, doing all of those things.
Yes, and that's why you have backups.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you back. If you start to get hurt, you know you got to back up. He's going to get in. Hopefully, he's going to get the job. That's how he steps. That's where the recruiting comes in. You know, in my day, we had 2 spring practices. We had a spring game here in Fayetteville, and then we would go down to Little Rock for the weekend and do a spring game for Little Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody played. Nobody sat on the side. I mean, we had Billy Ray Smith, Gary Anderson, Keith Kidd, everybody practiced. There was nobody. You didn't sit on the sideline and be like, oh no, we don't want you to get hurt. Blah blah blah. It's just spring. No, you got out there and you was getting hit just like everybody else. There was no such thing as a red jersey. Everybody was gay. Everybody was freaking.
Mm-hmm.
You have the summer to heal.
Yeah, you do. You got all summer.
You got summer to heal.
Exactly.
Ruthless.
Exactly. And that's how you get the speed of the game.
Okay.
Because you have to be on the field to get the speed. You can't watch the film. You can't watch it from the sideline.
Yeah.
And I say that all the time. I was like, they're not gonna win a championship until they start hitting at least 3 days a week.
I'm excited because you've now opened up a can of worms, because now you've got teams who aren't even having a spring game.
I saw that.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, that's going to be their season. I'm just worried about Arkansas. They're going to have a bad season.
But we haven't seen a red-white game like we've used to seeing a true team versus team. They're not, they're out there. Coaches are out there saying, okay, here's the script we're going to go through. This is what we're going to do. Then we're going to stop. Then we're going to go over here. We're going to kick some field goals. And we're going to stop. I mean, it was a true game. It's not like that anymore.
What you want to tell me that I'll tell you one that was, and I'm not a fan by any means, but if you ever want to see a spring practice, this is when Nick Saban was around with Alabama.
Yeah.
Go to Alabama. Everybody was getting hit. Everybody was scrimmaging. It was full pads, and it was and even when Jalen left and went to Oklahoma. And they said that he was watching practice, and he was like, "What is this?"
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "This is practice." He was like, "We don't practice like that at Alabama." He's like, "Dude, we're in full pads at least 3 days a week. At least 3 days a week. We're in. I mean, when I was with Lou, sometimes we practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and if Wednesday practice isn't good, we're in full pads on Thursday, and sometime on Friday, and we get ready to play a game on Saturday." That's the way he was.
Sometimes you like to go back to the future.
Hey, and not to mention, sometimes practice. I mean, my college roommate Terry Tatum said it. He said it best. He was like, sometimes we'd be at practice. It'll be like 3:00 in the afternoon, and he'd be like, "I don't like the way practice is going. We're gonna set the practice back." He'll set his watch back an hour, sometimes 2 hours, and we gotta finish practice. And so he'll start practice all over again.
Oh no!
He's like, "I'm setting my watch back 2 hours, and we'll start practice all over again from the beginning." That's what he did. It'll be dark by the time we get off the field. But that's the way he was.
What do you think, Jason?
See, I personally think that you should be hitting also during spring practice. I think it should be full contact. And the reason why, look at Alabama at the end of the season. They are still able to withstand punishment because they have been doing it for so long. They're so used to it.
Yes.
That's why you see them out there dealing punishment in fourth quarters, because they have done it time and time and time again.
Absolutely.
Whenever you don't have those reps, fourth quarter, you are going to slow down. You are going to get a little weak. Donnie talked about it whenever he said, we got the hell beat out of us. And when we keep hitting each other, our shoulders and knees will be a little bit weaker. But Greg told him, he's like, no, we're not. It wasn't for him. And the reason why was because he was so used to getting hit all time and time and time again.
Yes.
Iron sharpen iron. That's what that is right there. And that's why I think they should be hitting. At least, like you said, 3 days a week. Now, I was really surprised. Sam let us have full access to the entire practice. First time since I can remember since he's been here. And so I thought, what's changed? Because you don't just go from, you got 3, 4, and 5. Those are the periods you have. You guys are out the door.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah,
2 hours. Have fun.
Sure. I think we've seen it. We've had a few of those, especially in the spring. In the spring, he would say, camera crew, we can come in, we can film periods 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then camera's got to go away, but you can stay and watch the rest of it. You can't take photos, you can't take videos, but you can stay and watch. We've seen a couple of those under Sam, but we did not last year. And so I know that last year was a big year, and he explained that. This year's a big year for us. We just don't need distractions, and he kind of shut that down. I think he's opening back that curtain now in year 2 with Bobby Petrino and with Taylen Green, and he understands that I got to get people to come in like you and see what we have so that you can take it and tell these people that we're talking to right now.
We're their biggest promoters.
That's what Sam is seeing, and he understands that. The fall might be different because the fall's the actual season. But he's done that a few times, and then he'll shut it down. So he's done a little bit of everything. But it is good to be able to see it with so many new faces.
Because last year, Limbo and I went to practice, and I remember talking to I can't remember his name. The guy passed away, Bob.
Bob Holt.
Yes, and he came over and talked to us. He came over and talked to Limbo and myself, and we were talking to him, and he was like, "Well, I'm gonna go ahead and talk to you guys real quick." He said, "Because we only got 20 minutes, and we have to leave practice." And I was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah, Coach only give it 20 minutes, and after that, we got to go."
Yeah.
And I thought that was odd, but that's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's how it's been for a while.
I did not know that.
And not just under Sam. Chad did it as well. Bielema did it as well. So we were only able to film a certain amount of time at practices, and then the cameras had to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, you just said, we're their biggest supporters as far as not supporters, but promoters at this point. So us being able to see what happens in the back ends of those practices, because listen, when you get indies, you don't see shit.
No.
You don't see shit now. You see fights at the end of practice when everybody's all hot, pissed off, and ready to go home, and some guy takes an extra lick at you.
They get irritable.
That's whenever the fights start happening. And sometimes it does happen. Now, like they said, if it happens, don't report it. That's fine. I get that. Keep everything in house, but it's also when the fun happens too. Sometimes.
Yeah.
You ever had that happen?
Well, I'll put it this way: most of our fights happen over a girl. So it was. I don't remember too many fights at practice, but I remember a lot of fights outside of practice because of a girl. I do remember that. One summer we had a cool little setup. So we had, and in the 80s, $25 went a long way. So we had a $25 deal for Wendy's. And you go there and you just eat, on $25. 2 guys got into a fight over there. Marshall Foreman was one of them. Kevin Anderson was the other. They got into a fight over a girl, and Luke cut it out. That was it. We didn't get a chance to have it anymore because they blew it for everybody. Over a girl. Like I said, it was never on the field. It was always outside.
Marshall, I'm going to be asking you about that later. Oh, yeah. So I want to switch gears for just a second. Arkansas lost a heartbreaking, gut-wrenching loss to Ole Miss. Last second 3. Hit it with 1.3 seconds left. Had a 1-point lead with 20 seconds left. Those are the type of backbreaking things. I'm not saying that it's going to hinder this team, but it could help bring them together for a little bit of a postseason run.
Yeah. That was a hard game to lose the way that they did. Of course, they were up 3, and then they fouled with an and one.
That's right.
And then it was 80-80. You go back down on the other side of the court. Trevin Brazile gets fouled and then misses both of his free throws. That second miss allowed Ole Miss to do their fast break and then Padula hit the 3. Had he made it, they'd have been able to set their defense a little bit. It'd been, I think, maybe a different outcome. But it's tough. I think there might be some silver lining here in a sense where you've got a 7-man rotation right now. Just go get some rest.
Yeah.
You're going to play Auburn. You're most likely not winning the SEC tournament. You need to go home and rest. You're in the NCAA tournament. You don't have to worry about that anymore, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then figure out where you're going and see if you can make a little bit of run in March.
Are you saying this might be the best case scenario for this team?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Okay. There's no maybe. That is, yeah. They won the game they needed to get off the Dayton bubble.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they're in. They're going to go somewhere.
Yep.
See if they can make a run. They don't need to be playing basketball anymore. Nashville doesn't mean anything.
I like the way she thinks.
I do too. I do too.
I'm not a big basketball fan, but I do love watching the Hogs. But my thing is just it's March Madness. Anything can happen. That's all I can say.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's all I can say.
So softball. I'm putting softball ahead of baseball. There's
Good
a
for
reason
you.
why.
Good for you.
One, I'm a girl dad. And by God, I'm going to put women first. Second, you have the 4-time defending national champion Oklahoma Sooners coming into town. You got DJ Gasso's mom coming in, Patty Gasso. It's like a spider web of stories that go into this.
Mhm.
I feel like personally, this is Courtney Deifel's largest
Mhm.
weekend series of her entire tenure. And I think the fans are super ready for this. And they got some players over there that are ready for this too. Bree Ellis, Courtney Day.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, they're ready to go.
Mhm. No, I love you for that. As a softball player my entire life, softball deserves all the love. Yeah, that was my sport. This is huge. And if you play softball, you know what Oklahoma has brought to the table in recent years. You know, you know what UCLA and Cal and Stanford and Arizona. When I was growing up, like it was all about Jenny Finch, right? Like
Yes.
at Arizona.
Cat Osterman,
Yes.
Texas.
Yes.
Yep.
And so those programs, Oklahoma State, Michelle Smith, those programs have always had success and they have long, they're the historic programs. Oklahoma's the program.
Yep.
Patty Gasso has built that over these last couple of years. Like you mentioned, her son is the hitting coach. But it is going to be packed. And OU brings busloads of people over from Norman. And it is going to be an atmosphere that, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go, but I am excited to watch on television. It's the SEC home opener. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope that Arkansas can rise to the occasion. I feel like they can. This team is talented enough to compete against this OU team and definitely put up a fight, and we'll see what happens.
I think it was very. I wouldn't say it was the best spot for this to happen, but with the 2 games that they dropped Ole Miss last weekend, games Friday night, Saturday night, the way that they did it, and then they responded with a 20-run game on Sunday, that told you that they heard the pop. They heard the okay. We need to get ourselves refocused because Friday and Saturday night, I felt like they were not focused. They committed 2 errors both games.
Yeah.
And there were some things that happened that I haven't seen from this team in the first 4 weeks of the season. And I know that Coach Deifel had to have been scratching her head with some of the plays that they were making because it was something that was super uncommon. They came back out, they played a clean game on Sunday. I really feel like that kind of helped reorganize their focus for this weekend.
Yeah, I think so. I do. And they had an issue like that last year where they had been playing so well, and then they had, it might have been the Mississippi State series here that just was off. And I remember Coach Deifel saying, we just did some things I haven't seen this team do before. And that's going to happen. It's a softball. It's a game. You're just going to have an off night, and next thing you know, one bobble turns into 2, turns into an overthrow, and it's, you got 2 outs, and they've just scored 5 runs. Yeah, I mean, it happens. It happens in this game. It's what happens in any game that you play. But I guarantee you, you're focused, you're ready, you know exactly what OU is going to bring to the table.
Yep. So first pitch Friday night, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. in the circles, and you all can watch that. I do believe on the SEC. Was it SEC Plus?
You don't put us on the spot like that.
We're
going to look it up. I'm going to tell you in a minute.
Okay. All right. So Razorback baseball team heads to Ole Miss this weekend. It's going to be a fun series. You had Ole Miss a couple of years ago win the national championship. Then they had the lull a little bit. I would call it like the natty hangover, really. And now they're starting to kind of come back a little bit more. Now, the thing is with Arkansas, I felt like last weekend was a great bounce back from what happened with Charlotte. Because that Charlotte series, I think Charlotte's a hell of a lot better than some people think. Now they go out and take care of business with Portland, took care of business with ULM, and I think it's Kahio Aloy's world. We're just living in it right now.
Oh, it was fun. I was at that game on Tuesday when they beat UCA, and it was a lot of fun watching that game. One one of the first times I've just sat in the hot pot. Now I was chasing my 3-year-old around, so finally got her to calm down.
It's always the best.
Yes, but watching that game and what Pahua Boy and even Brent Iredale, the Aussie, brought to the table, it was a lot of fun. Everyone asks me with baseball, what is your favorite series that you look forward to every year?
Mm-hmm.
And it is Arkansas Ole Miss. It's because you have Dave Van Horn and Mike Bianco, who are the longest tenured coaches. And well, now you got Palmineri at South Carolina, so he's back. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, but he took a break, so it doesn't count. His 10 years old. He took a break, so it's not continuous.
Yes.
So, but you have Dave and you have Mike, and they have such a fun dynamic of a relationship because you can we've seen them go at it a little bit, but there's a mutual respect, right? As coaches who have coached at some of the best programs in the country. And it is always, I don't want to say chippy, but it is, there's tension in that ballpark when you walk in. There's some edge, there's a lot there. And so it is always a fun series between these two.
I'm a baseball fan, but I haven't been to a game this year, which is not normal. Normally I do, but for some reason I have not been able to make it to a game this year. But I'm looking forward to it, and I just want them to finally get over that hump because they always come out on fire the start of the season.
Yeah,
and then when it gets into the time when we need them to be on fire, they kind of drizzle out.
Mm-hmm.
They hit that wall last year in April, second week of April,
and I'm hoping they don't do that this year. I'm hoping they keep that fire going all through the season. That's what I'm looking for.
Maybe we need to have an Artis Harper signing. Oh, you got to get that guy back in the ballpark again. You just can't show up whenever they're going to honor him. He's got to come back. Oh, mate. I'm going to tell you what. It's been fun.
Yeah.
It has been fun.
Mm-hmm.
We're done already?
Yeah. I know. We can keep going, though.
I don't know.
Tape never stop rolling.
No, it has not. No, this has been really great. It's been fun.
It has.
About all this stuff.
So, you're welcome anytime.
Please, yeah. I'll be back whenever you want to. Just call me, text me.
Free tacos.
Free tacos.
Always
just the free food. That's all you
I'm
have
gonna
to
give me a
say.
taco before I leave.
Yeah.
Definitely give me a taco.
Serious.
It's about dinner time anyway.
It's worth it. Do you have a favorite taco?
So they came out with this taco, the new taco of the month. I forgot the name of it off the top of my head. I have to look it up. I think I have to look it up. Anyway, it's got shrimp that has been crusted with Captain Crunch.
Stop.
Yes. So you get that
It's like
seafood, but sweet.
Yeah, like a coconut.
Yes, and they've got it's got a little bit of coconut mixed in with it too. And I'm gonna tell you what, I had it. It has. I do believe I'm gonna have to double check on this. I'm awful with this. Sorry, Torchys, you guys are probably gonna get me here after a while, and I understand that. But try their taco of the month. Okay. That's all you gotta say.
Taco of the month.
They'll hook you up.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna tell you what, I had it last week. It was peach habanero sauce on top.
Ooh, you just keep adding to this.
Yeah.
But since you mentioned Captain Crunch, I want you guys to try something for me before the next time I see you guys.
Okay.
Get your box of Captain Crunch, the gold bars one.
Just no berries.
No berries.
Great.
Just the regular gold bar Captain Crunch. And get you some vanilla ice cream. Sprinkle some of that Captain Crunch on top of it, and you tell me what you think.
Ooh.
I guarantee you'd be like, this is the best thing since sliced bread.
Oh my gosh, that sounds delicious. See, I love Captain Crunch. Yeah. At 37 years old, like I'm still that girl in the grocery store buying Captain Crunch, and I'm not even, upset to admit that. So
I don't blame you at all.
Yeah, you know what? That's fine. You want to judge me in the checkout line? I don't even care.
I had frosted flakes a couple nights ago for
Those
dinner.
Are great
it was
too.
great.
Those are great.
That cereal's always in my
cabinet.
Gosh.
Fruity
Frosted
Pebbles?
Flakes.
Let's go.
I don't know about Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, come on.
Something like Fruity Pebbles I just can't do.
Why?
It ain't masculine.
Here before,
okay.
Up until this point, I liked it.
That's what I'm going with, yes.
That's where you're
Fruity
Pebbles,
dude.
Okay. Okay.
Now, Captain Crunch, Captain. Tony the Tiger, Tiger. Fruity Pebbles, no.
It's the Flintstones.
Okay.
Did you watch the Flintstones?
I did. I love the Flintstones. Every episode.
What do you got against them?
I don't have anything against them. Just have anything against Fruity Pebbles. The name.
What's
Lucky
gonna
Charms.
Somebody's
Lucky
You're not going to do
Charms.
Lucky Charms. No.
I don't do Lucky
What about
Charms.
Fruit Loops?
Oh, that's even worse.
You can't get down with Toucan Sam?
No. That's even
We need to okay. Next time we're here, we're opening up with a whole cereal dissertation. Okay.
I got something too. After we do the dissertation, we're gonna blindfold Luther,
We should.
Uh-oh.
and then we're
we can
gonna
try
feed, and
things.
we're gonna feed you cereal,
Oh,
and
dude,
you're
I-
gonna
What
have.
is Apple Jacks? It's just orange and green. Corn Pops? Corn Pops.
No, look, Frosted
All right.
Flakes, Raisin Bran.
What about Raisin Bran Crunch?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of crackling oat bran? That's my favorite.
Look, I might be old, but I have a good bowel movement, though. I don't need no crackling, no brand. Thank you, though.
They got Seneca for, right?
Just saying.
Make it
You know
go
what?
easier.
I can't wait to gift you one of those for Christmas. Merry Christmas, Luther.
Easy down and
Crackling
easy out,
oat
right?
bran.
All right, you guys. Thank you for joining us this evening here live at Torchys Tacos in Fayetteville. For Alyssa and for Luke and myself, Jason, I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. Make sure to go watch the Arkansas Heroes series, Razorbacks of the 80s. You can find that on hogville.net and also on the Hogville YouTube channel. For these two folks over here that have just made my night special, so much fun. I want to thank you guys for joining us, and go Hogs.
Go Cowboys.
Y'all, it's time for some damn good tacos in college football. We're excited to announce our title sponsor, Torchys Tacos, for the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk, and the new addition to the Hogville.net family, the Arkansas pregame show starring former Hog running back Marshall Foreman, hosted by Jason Pattison. If you're looking for a place to unwind and call the Hogs, Torchys is the place. Torchys' location on MLK in Fayetteville is the proud host of the Arkansas pregame show, and it will air 2 hours prior to kickoff of each Fayetteville home game. The Arkansas Football Report airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. in Rogers. Check out the full-service bar on the patio or in the restaurant while you cheer Arkansas on to victory. Torchys has you covered with the daily drink specials or the taco of the month with their queso that's made in-house fresh daily. Torchys has 2 convenient locations in Northwest Arkansas, which happen to be the only 2 locations here in the great state of Arkansas. They have you covered for some damn good tacos, and go Hogs.